Hey, some more MPCNC fun today. Hold on a second here. Okay, that's better. You got the dust off there. More MPCNC fun today. I've been using this piece of pink insulation foam as my waste board since I built the MPCNC and started cutting foam. It's got lots of wear and tear in it. You can see where I've been putting pins in it over and over. What you can't see, because I just put a piece of foam in, is underneath each corner where I pin my foam down, it's getting really worn out. It's getting harder and harder to pin foam down to this thing because it's so soft in those spots. So it's time to do what I've been wanting to do since I built the machine and make a vacuum table. And what better way to do it than to let the machine make it? So I just drew up a design inspired by some that a couple of people on Flight Test have posted, and we're going to cut it. We're going to use the needle cutter to cut it out of foam board, and we'll see how this goes. So let's start cutting. Well, you know what though? Before I start, it would help if I had my G-code ready. So I better go prepare my G-code. Were you watching? I wasn't watching. But our first cut looks like it went fairly decent, and then we just went all bonkers. Not really sure what happened there. This sheet's now a loss. It's cutting nice though. Just somehow we got off on our coordinates here again. Wish I knew what causes that to happen. I'm gonna restart this and see if it'll. I'm gonna run it without the cutter going though. I'm wondering if maybe did I start it in the wrong spot and we hit a limit maybe? Well, I'll have to come back to this. Okay, new shirt. It's been a while. Same day, but I had to put on something nicer. That shirt I was wearing earlier, holes in it. It was terrible. But I had to go shopping and errands and all that stuff. But now we have our first piece of the vacuum table cut. I've removed a couple of the pieces here already, and we will remove the rest here. Let's go ahead and pull the pins. It took 3 or 4 tries to cut this simple piece for reasons I can't begin to explain. I don't know exactly what was going wrong, but my CNC went pretty berserk on me. That's the only way I can explain it. It was cutting past the end. Now, I'm running the exact same G-code now, same setup, same everything, but for like 3 tries in a row, it cut right past the end of this and hit, a software end stop. And the firmware I'm running on my controller right now does not deal well with hitting the software end stops. It goes and does dumb stuff when that happens. So yeah, I wound up with cuts right off the edge and weird, well, that's just a cut that went all the way over, and you can see like right there is doing weird stuff. Just, well, that's the back side. This is the side that's being cut, but still just weird stuff like right up there. Yeah, it's nonsense. So yeah, it got bizarre. And one time I tried to recut and forgot to reset my Z after stopping, so it smashed it, and it's not been a fun afternoon, evening. But we have it now, so let's pull it up. Here it is. First piece of our vacuum table. This is going to be the horizontal cuts for the plenum. And we can just pull these pieces out. They're cleanly cut, so they're just pulling right out. It's a little tricky to do one-handed. I should put this down, but I don't really have the tripod out to do that right now, so you get to look at my smiling face as I do this, or my exhausted not quite smiling, but no longer quite as grumpy because this did cut this time face. And I will just continue popping these out as I do this. There we go. And this piece is getting considerably less substantial as these are removed. It just wants to flop all over because it's got all these big holes in it now. Okay, so hope you aren't getting too seasick from this. Hey, straighten up. Okay, but there we go. And oh look, I forgot to remove one of my pins, which hopefully I won't be using too much longer. So, we've got our horizontal pieces, or our horizontal slots. This is going to be one piece. Next, we're going to cut a series of vertical slots. And I have the CAD open here. I got those going already. So let's come over here. I'm going to grab my SD card and pop it in my computer. Ignore that. Computer's case is kind of fallen open. Sorry about that. Unplug the machine so it's a little quieter while we do this. Okay, we are just going to save our CNC program off to my D drive. We are just going to call this vert slots. I think underscores are messing up the version of Marlin I'm running, and so are dashes, so I'm just going to go vert slots. Save it. It's saying 24 minutes. The last one said 20 minutes and cut in 15, so this is probably going to be about 20 minutes to cut this. Alright, it should be good to go. We will now eject. Oops. Apparently 2 glasses of wine may be a little more than I should have before doing machining, even if it is just foam. But there we go. Pull our SD card over, pop it in. Another sheet of foam. There we go. Bring it up. I'm going to pull the sticker off just because it's easier than removing bits of sticker after it's been cut. I will find which way this one was bent, and this one is a prime example of why I'm building the vacuum table. These things aren't warping reliably anymore. They're now like half warped one way, half warped another. So there we go. Let's sit you guys up. I lied a bit about the tripod. You are on a tripod. The tripod is just not accessible yet. Now it is. So I'm going to put you over here. Sit down for a second. Out of the way. And hopefully this isn't blocking too much of your view, because I'm going to get in here and here. I'll bring you down a little bit lower. Come on, bend. Bend! Get down! It's not going as low as Oh, that's as low as it goes. Okay. Well, hopefully you can see something, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my trusty 1/2-inch stick here. And what I'm doing on these is I'm putting my needle all the way down and I'm just pushing right up against it to set that edge. So my 1/2-inch stick here sets this edge, and then so that my foam is right up against the needle, sets that edge. And now I'm going to pin. Which is the bit that I mentioned earlier is getting increasingly difficult because my foam down here has definitely seen better days. I got lots of bugs kicking around. It is, you'll notice AC's not on today. It is finally cool enough. I'm working with the outside door open and enjoying some fresh air and letting my neighbors listen to the wonderful sound of needle cutting. They don't mind. We got fences. Their houses are far enough away. Nobody really complains, but yeah. So, pop you up, push you out of the way. Through here, one more pin for this corner. Pull this up against my end stops. As I've mentioned before, I am using physical end stops to square my machine before each cut right now. I actually just picked up a bunch of end stops and printed up a bunch of mounts before realizing the mounts are for a different style of end stop than I bought. But there's new auto squaring firmware available for the MPCNC, and I'm gonna try and test it here soon. Gotta finish this though. I really want this vac table, so let's go ahead and get this going. I'm gonna leave you guys here to watch. And oh man, I done messed up. Why didn't you tell me? You didn't warn me. Okay, look what I did. See that? That's not up against the foam. I was not foamed before I put my foam in place. So now I get to do this all over again. I thought you had my back. I thought you were going to help me here. I thought you were more than just a camera to talk to and random people watching me make a fool of myself, but I guess I had higher expectations than I should have. So I get to pull all the pins that I just put in. And you get to watch, because you watched me do it wrong the first time and didn't stop me. So, no reprieve here. You're going to suffer along with me. Pull all my pins. So, 2 more. 1 more. And we will do this one more time to make sure we get it right. Okay, needle down. Get that fluff off of there. This new foam board leaves a lot more fluff than the old stuff did, I'll say that. Okay. Right there. You know what? We are not getting... Oh, that's right, because we're up above. I'm not thinking clearly, and I've been so frustrated with this. I don't know why it cut weird for me earlier. Well, let's go ahead and put my pins in, which are now going to bite even less because they're back into the areas that are really chewed up. I mean, it was chewed up before, but now it's chewed up even worse. The only one that doesn't is that one up there that goes into where I have that black masking or duct tape. And I learned, don't cut through the black tape. It will leave black residue on your pieces. Unless you want black residue on your pieces. And then, you know, go right ahead, cut through that tape all day long. Enjoy it. Have fun. One more pin. Pull this square. Alright, you ready to go for a ride here? Let's plug it in. I'm hoping you aren't the curse, because I suspect you might be, because as soon as I turned the camera off, things started working right. But we'll see. We'll try. One more to go. Got my hearing on, and let's cut. Nope, this is still showing up funky on my screen, but there's vert slots. Come on, select it, and we're gonna cut. 3, 2, 1, start. Waiting for it to come up to speed. You're probably too far away to see this, but my needle is bent. It sticks out kind of funny now because one of those crashes on the bad cuts didn't do great things. I should make a new needle, but I want to get this done, so I'm not going to. Let's let it cut, see how it does. the script that turns that on and off automatically for me now. Anyway, that took 14 minutes, so less than it predicted, and it came out pretty good. We've got our vertical slots. So let me pull the pins on that. Push it down for a second here, so it can sit tight. Oh, it's going to be so nice not having to deal with these pins. Though I will have to deal with the sound of a vacuum, but I can always put that outside, let the neighbors deal with it, and just run a line through the wall here into my shop. That's certainly an option. There's actually a little cubby on that side of the shop that's walled off and protected and nowhere near any living quarters of any of our neighbors, so that's fairly viable of a solution that I could pursue. We'll see if I do. Alright, pull this up. I was getting impatient there and pulled the scrap while it was still sitting on the board. Ooh, that's flexy. Okay, pull you up. And spin you around. Come on over here. Hey, don't do that. Stay. And here's our other piece from just before. We line these up. We should now have alignment between them. They're so soft and flexy now. It's a little hard to tell how well they line up. But it looks like, yeah, as long as I don't squish things and actually line them up, they line up and we got holes. So we're getting there. Next we got to do our top sheet with just our holes, and then I'm going to have to cut some slots in here to make this guy mount. And I'm just going to do that by hand because I wasn't sure exactly. I didn't want to take the time to do the CAD and bring this in and make the slots and line everything. It's 10 seconds, 15 seconds with a knife, and I can do it just as well. But this is a cool print. I loved why it prints like this, and it used every bit of Z on my machine. Yeah, I got a ton of Z apparently. And it used, I had to put it diagonal to fit it on the bed. It maxed out my machine pretty much. But it was a fun, cool print thanks to Moebeast from the flight test forums. And that's what's going to provide our vacuum. So you may have noticed there I stopped for a minute during the noisy bit and prepared the last sheet, which is saying it's going to take like 14 minutes, but it's probably going to go a little quicker than that. We'll see. So let's get that one going. Now Moebeast, who designed the plenum, when he did this, he actually used the vacuum as it was to hold this piece. I'm not going to be that fancy because I don't have my vacuum ready yet, and I don't really want to listen to it right now. Man, these pieces of foam are all Dollar Tree. You disappoint me. There's like shoe prints on this one, and I had to dig through them to find sheets that were the proper thickness. If you're buying Dollar Tree foam board, be careful, because that stuff has gotten highly inconsistent lately. I've been finding sheets that are barely 3 millimeters thick. I purposely bought the thickest looking pieces I found this time, and they vary from 4.6 millimeters all the way up to 5.2 millimeters in thickness, which can be an issue if you're building things with slots and tabs that are designed to fit together, because you kind of expect your foam board to be in consistent thickness. But yikes. Oh well. This one's going to get torn up as a waste sheet anyway, so there we go. Put that in. Alright, double check my Z since that just dragged like a thing that drags. Yeah, we're okay. Clean off some of our scuds here. You may have noticed during that last one, if I leave it in, I haven't oiled this in a while, so I gave it a little squirt in there. It helps it run a little cooler and quieter. Pull this down. We're all zeroed. Grab my card for just a moment here because I don't have my file. I think it's on there. Maybe that's why I'm having problems tonight. Maybe this SD card is on its last legs. It could be. I don't even know where that card came from, how old it is, what it's been used for. All I know is it was one I had handy and I started using it. When my last one I had been using, no, not that one. Last one I had been using suddenly started physically falling apart. 16 gig Ultra card, nice one, and it just fell apart on me. Okay, we're zeroed out against our end stops. We just powered up. We'll select our file. Come on, scroll down. Where is it? Back holes. And I'm going to put my ears on. Here we go. Seriously, I don't know why I put this. I should go look if this is the order I did them in. Okay, so 13 minutes. Not bad. A minute less than it said it would be. And I started pulling them there, but it was no fun. So I've got a whole bunch of little holes here to pop out. I have, I drew this up and I didn't even count how many. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that'll make the math easy. By 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I've got 160 of these, and I popped a couple of them. But they're going to be a lot easier with this thing off the table than they were using the screw to pop in there and pull them out. So let's power down the cutter so I don't accidentally turn it on and zap myself any. And pull out the last of these. There we go. Ta-da! So now all I have to do is find something suitable and make a big freaking confetti mess. I can't do it. I don't want to have to pick them all up off the floor, so I'm just going to grab them as I do it. There we go. It goes fairly quick at least. I kind of feel like there should be something I can do with these. Some kind of confetti. My daughter would probably love them and make a huge mess with them, but I'd then have to clean up, so that won't happen. Just for the curious, these are all 1/4-inch holes, And those slots are all 1/4-inch slots, so they should all line up. Let me unplug this because the fan is kind of driving me nuts. So these should all line up. I don't know what was with the cutting order. I don't think that's the order I drew the holes in. I admit I drew them in a pretty wild and crazy order myself. But I don't think I drew them in that particular wild and crazy order. WrestleCam 10 has gotten a lot better about picking its operation orders to speed up machining, but it still does some pretty crazy stuff sometimes. It leaves me wondering just what it's doing to optimize the cuts. Oh, that works. I can just kind of cup my hand on the back and catch them instead of actually picking them up. No, it's not actually working. They're just clinging back there, so I do have to actually pick them up. Here we go. These look like those candies that, you know, it's almost Halloween. Candies on my mind. And there's some little candies that looks like these we used to get as kids. I think I liked them. I think they were one of the ones that I looked forward to at Halloween because you only got them at Halloween. Because none of the stores near us carried them, and I don't know where people would come up with them, but it always seems like Halloween people come up with weird candy. I don't. Well, I do try to buy decent stuff. I like having people come to our house for Halloween. Which reminds me, tomorrow I need to work on our kicking legs and our ghost. Both of which will be making a guest appearance at a friend's Halloween party this year. So, I really want them working reliably and top notch. Man, this is a lot of holes. It's only 160. Could be more. I actually drew it as double this originally. I had this on 1-inch centers instead of 2-inch. And honestly, I think even the 2-inch is overkill for holding down foam sheets while we needle cut them. I don't care about the individual parts being held down because they don't come loose as it is. But holding down the sheet is still necessary. Probably should have paid attention to which side was up and down on this because it's going to make a difference how these all go together. This little GoPro screw is just about the perfect tool for this. Oops, I'm dropping some of them. Oh well, that's why we have shop vacs. Maybe I should have just let them all fall on the floor. So I had hoped to work on that dual end stop stuff on the MPCNC tonight, but this dragged on a lot longer than I expected it to. And it's nearly there. One partial row of holes, and we will have this sheet done. Now, I learned when I started preparing a vacuum table before not to pull the paper off of this piece or it will warp badly. There we go, all our holes side this way, and let's see how they line up. Oh, neighbors are screaming at their dogs. It seems they don't line up. Or do they? And I'm just not. Oh, they do. Yeah, that'll work. I don't know if you can see through there, but they all line up. Holes, holes, all the way through. And now I will just have to glue these all together and cut out the slots for this bad boy to stick in here through the bottom two. And I should be able to try my vacuum table. So that'll have to wait till tomorrow morning. That's going to be the next step. And we're starting to look like this is going to happen. Right now I'm tired. I finally got all the foam cut, so I will deal with gluing the foam and installing that shortly. Take it easy. Next day, still at it. Just reviewed the video I shot yesterday on this, and it's looking like we can put something together. So let's go back out to the shop here and start assembling this stuff. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to put you guys up on the shelf and get your tripod out and kind of wedge you in here. I don't know if you can see that propeller in your way there or not. Just a little space in my office. Let's call it my office. It's a shop now. Let's call it my office. Okay, so that's not working out great. Let's see if we can maybe wedge it. Yeah, that'll. There we go. New perspective. Try something different. Okay. So our goal is to assemble these so that they all line up. I'm going to get these pins out of the way. Could be one of the last times I use these pins. Come on up. A few more there, a few more over here, one here. Got my pins. Alright. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble all three of these pieces, then flip it over and cut the holes for this to go in. So, I need to combine these two first. It looks like, yeah, this edge and that edge should line up. I'm going to try this with some Easy Tack. This probably isn't the right adhesive for this because this is repositionable stuff, but I don't want to bust out the heavy duty contact cement just yet. And I don't really want to hot glue this because this would be a huge surface to try and hot glue. And I'm not too concerned if I get some spray glue here on my pink stuff, because the pink stuff, even if I go back to not using the vacuum table and keep using the pink stuff, this particular pink stuff is about worn out. Alright, swap over here. Yeah, I'm having serious doubts as to this glue's suitability for this. I haven't used it in a while. I used to use this before I had the CNC to attach plans to foam for cutting by hand. For that it was perfect because it would let me peel things back apart when I was done. I might have to find some Super 77 or something, because the other spray adhesive I have on hand is just way overkill for this. Way overkill. Okay. Now, let's see. I had this down like this, and I had this up like this. So we're going to put this down like this, and this down like this. Line up my edge. Line up, line up. That looks pretty decent. Pretty decent indeed. That's not good. Get out of there. Alright. Now, I am leaving the bottom open on this, which will be exposed to vacuum, because the idea is that way this vacuum table will suck itself down to my particle board table and hold itself in place. So I want this to come in here like this. And I think I want to go ahead and do it now before I glue the top on. So let me grab a pencil. Oh wait, my pencil's missing. So let me grab a marker and let's see. I could do it like this so it lines up with those holes. That might be best. Make sure it gets in both plenums very well that way. And I'm just going to sketch these out. And then grab a razor. Cut them. I hope that I'm doing what I think I'm doing. I'm trying to cut these just a little undersized so it'll be a nice tight fit. And I'm trying not to go through the bottom layer of paper so that I'll still have a seal under there. But I don't know how well that's going to work out. Let me pick this up so I can try and do this a little more carefully here. Yeah, I cut through the paper, which I didn't mean to do. You know, I can always glue something across the back. I don't really know that it's going to make that big of a difference. There we go. Even managed to leave the paper down there. Peel this one. This is just riveting YouTube quality video here, I'm sure. Oh, that one paper came up. Nothing like watching somebody do something tedious. I do it all the time, so I guess maybe people do watch that stuff. If you do, let me know. Leave a message down below. I suppose there are things I could do to make this more interesting, but chances are I won't. Okay. Out of the way you put this back down, squish this in. That seems like it's going to squish. And that lines up just about perfect on there. Beautiful. Alright. Now our holes. In this piece here, I would definitely, even if I glue the bottom two together stronger, this piece I'm going to keep with the Easy Tack because this piece is expendable. It's going to get chewed up just like my pink foam did with all of the overcuts going into it. Though hopefully I'll have less of that now because with the vacuum table holding everything flat, I should be able to get more accurate Z. But let's go ahead and glue this. Give it a nice coat on both sides here. And this is why I want to build that low rider, because this is my only table to work on, and I got this big old MPCNC filling it up. Being able to swap to a machine I can push totally off to the edge and have it available without having to work over all this stuff and having this in my way, that would be a dream come true right now. Alright, glue this side. Nice thing is the holes give me something to aim for and make it fairly easy to make sure I'm getting a good, solid, consistent coat over the whole thing here. And I think there's enough surface area that even this low tack repositionable adhesive is going to be good enough for this. If not, when I go grocery shopping, I'll pick up a can of Super 77 and we'll make this whole thing a little tighter. Alright, back down. Yep, that's the sticky side. And this goes like this. I better give that a moment. That still feels pretty wet down there. Yeah, I can see my fingerprints in it. I done left incriminating evidence. Okay, line up here. This phone is so inconsistently sized. There we go. One vacuum table. Mostly ready. Need to install this guy. Flat side should go this way. I'm debating if I was thinking I'd go ahead and hot glue that in, but for now I think I'm just gonna try it as it is. So let's pull up my old foam here. And this I've mentioned before, I just hold down with double stick tape. And look at that, that's a year plus of cutting. It has served me well. Maybe it'll serve me again. Probably not though. If I do go back to that method, I'll probably make up a new board. And here's something else I don't need anymore on here is this tape. I do have some inserts in the table for screwing things down, and I'd like to start using those for the foam, but we'll see how that goes. Put this down, grab a sheet of foam to test, and let me rig up the vacuum. We'll see if I have a vacuum table now. So, moment of truth. This is going to get loud. You probably won't be able to hear me during this, but we're going to plug in my vacuum here, and that is not ideal. I'm going to have to come up with a better setup here. And turn on the vacuum. Oh, vacuum won't work if I don't plug it in first. That's why I really need to finish my wiring in here. Okay, vacuum on. And, hey, check that out. That foam ain't going anywhere. That is held down. The whole table's held down. That works like a thing of beauty. Holding it all nice and square. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Hey, this is gonna work, guys. Definitely add some new noise in here. And wow, I can't reposition that. Maybe if I pull this guy up, yeah, that'll soften it enough I can reposition. And then man, as soon as that seals, it ain't going anywhere. So I've got a vacuum table now. I'm not going to show you how to use it yet because I still got to figure out how I'm going to use it. Shut it off. But there you have it. One, not quite as quick as I'd hoped it would have been, but still pretty quick and dirty. Could certainly be done in an afternoon. It's basically 3 sheets of Dollar Tree foam board, so $3 worth of foam. Kind of tricky 3D print, but there's other ways you could do this. I had initially planned on using this, and I'll include the link down below to the Thingiverse file for this. It's a customizer, so you can design it any way you want, and I was going to use that in just one spot, but this just looked like too much fun to print, so I had to try it. But there we go. We got a vacuum table with the MPCNC. Hope you like it. Hope it inspires somebody else to do something similar. And I'll post up more videos as I keep working with it and see how it goes. Hope this, whoa! Vacuum hoses are a trip hazard. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get going. I got other things to do today, and I gotta get this video together and up there for the MPCNC contest. Hope y'all like it. Hope y'all try the MPCNC. And I hope this vacuum table works well for me, too. We'll see ya.